Moving on to the next little bit of news here. This is a little bit on the Charlie Kirk assassin. I'm not going to make this too long. What I wanted to talk about was the bullet again. Now, this was actually brought up to me by somebody who had watched a video that I'd made, and I had actually thought about it previously, but I did not know the name of the round. It's a fraggable round that you can get. It's a target round that is supposed to blow apart into little tiny pieces when you shoot it at a target so that it doesn't go all the way through. Now, apparently, Tyler Robinson's father said they had went to the range recently, and there's a very good chance he could have used similar bullets they were using at the range, which are those type of rounds, apparently. And when he shot Charlie Kirk, that's why the round never came out of him, because it was one of those fragmental rounds. It's meant to go into whatever you're shooting at and stop there. So it would make a lot of sense that if he's shooting from a 30-06 and he was using one of those rounds, that's why it didn't come out of his body. Again, I don't know this definitively. It's a good possibility that it is that way because his father, again, said they went to the range recently, and this is a range-type round. What's another one? All right. As far as the evidence was concerned, Kash Patel actually did come out and said there was DNA on the screwdriver, DNA on the towel, and on the gun. All confirmed to be Tyler Robinson. So I wanted to make sure that was clear. Kash Patel also had come out and said that he was looking into co-conspirators, and there were texts that came from Tyler Robinson's phone that he made leading up to the day of the assassination, saying that there was an opportunity for him to take out Charlie Kirk, and he was going to do it. And he actually gave reasoning in the text, saying that he hated the things that he stood for. So this is not a question of what it is that he was possibly doing this for. He is clearly stating in his own words that he was going to go out and try to kill Charlie Kirk because he hated his viewpoints. I think all these larger conspiracies that Israel did this and that members of his own team did it and that there was some kind of exploding microphone on him. Well, if there was a bullet in that lapel mic that he had, there would have been some kind of a recoil. There was not. It actually went over towards his body because when the bullet came in, and I've watched this video repeatedly, there's a giant puff up. You could see when the bullet hits him, there is this large gust of like air that blows up his shirt, and that lapel mic flies off of him. It doesn't blow up. So I don't know where anybody's getting that. I've watched that video back and forth in high resolution. I've even seen the video that Candace Owens spoke of from where they got a good angle from behind. I watched her videos on that. Now, she believes in all these crazy conspiracies that people from Turning Point USA were trying to hide money, and that the fundings, he was going to actually do an audit and look into where all this money was going. And she thinks that it was actually people in Turning Point USA that were complicit in him being executed. I don't believe any of that's true. I'm literally thinking this is just a face value execution. There was a man that didn't like what he was saying, and he hated his viewpoints so much that it compelled him to go and end that man's life. It's that simple. Now, do I believe he could have been doing it to, garner favor with his friends or to be some kind of a martyr for their cause? Maybe he did that. I don't think he clearly thought this through because the man's going to be facing a firing squad. He's 22 years old. So I don't even think his brain is fully developed. I don't think he clearly thought through what he was doing. And I don't feel bad for him, though. He made this decision. He's going to live with it. I know Erica Kirk went out there and said she forgave him. I believe that man's an enemy of God. I don't believe he should be forgiven. And he's going to get what he's going to get what he has coming to him. There was also one more thing I want to hit on this. He actually returned to the scene. I talked previously about the gun possibly being a decoy, but this guy wasn't that sophisticated. He clearly did not set this up in a way that was going to allow him to escape and get away with this crime. So I don't think that gun was a decoy. I think he really did put it there. He actually spoke about it in text later on, that he went back and tried to retrieve the gun, but he ran into the police when he did it. So he had to leave. So he never got to get the gun. I don't believe he was sophisticated. I believe he was an extremely intelligent person. Now, what do I mean by that? He got a 34 in his, I believe it was a 34 in his ACTs. Now, a perfect score is a 36. So if you get a 34, you got to be pretty darn smart. But clearly, this man didn't think through. He wasn't a very good strategist. Let's just put it that way. So he did go back. He tried to retrieve the rifle in his own words, and he ran into law enforcement. So I don't think that rifle was a decoy. I don't think there's a larger conspiracy here involving when you look at all these conspiracies in the aggregate, what I'm trying to say is that when you put them all together, all these little incidences of anomalies, when you look at them individually, they look like they could be a part of a conspiracy. But when you put them all together, if Tyler Robinson is the one that killed him, which I 100% believe, Tyler Robinson up on top of that roof shot Charlie Kirk. You are not going to be able to link all these little anomalies to Tyler Robinson. And if you can't do that, then your conspiracy is debunked. So I just don't believe it. None of these other conspiracies, when you look at them in totality, you put them all together, they don't link up. They don't go together. They don't all fit together in a way that's going to bring it back to Tyler Robinson. And if you can't get it back to him on top of that building, and that's where I believe the shot came from, and that's what I believe killed Charlie Kirk, then it's pointless. Then it doesn't make any sense. If it doesn't make any sense, then you just need to drop it. Leave it alone. Not everything is some giant conspiracy. I'm a guy that's looked into tons and tons of conspiracies. I've actually even fallen for a few. But when you continue to look at it, and you look at the evidence, it has to be linked back to Tyler Robinson. If he did kill him, and I believe he did. And I believe he did. I'm going to get a drink here. So if Tyler Robinson killed him, then all those other anomalies are just anomalies. They're just small anomalies that, when you put them all together, they just don't make a conspiracy. They're just small things that just seem odd. And that happens. Not everything is a giant conspiracy. All right.